Yeah, excellent. Hello. So today we will continue our sessions about how to find job in Europe. And today we will have last session about this topic on this week, but we will continue next week about where to search new job and how and so on. Okay, today we will discuss GitHub profile and pet projects. Also, I should notice that it's not a strict recommendation or something like that. Only advice, how can you create your GitHub profile and which projects will help you to cover all necessary skills which are asked by interviewers on backend software engineer interviews. And firstly, we will start from GitHub. And I have only one big recommendation about general GitHub view. You can create GitHub README. And when you will create GitHub README, when I will come to your GitHub profile, I will see next picture. I will wait when my GitHub profile one second, where is it? My profile, yes. When somebody come to my profile, he will see next picture. He will see my general information and he will see my README. And here in this README, you can write everything. And you see that here I have my tech stack, my socials, briefly about my experience, some GitHub statistic. I don't know if it's really useful, but for me, I like it. Why not? And here, for example, random dev quote, random mem, and amount of profile views, and so on. So I think it's looks well, why not? And how to create it? Firstly, you can Google GitHub create profile README, and you will find article how to do it. In general, you need to create a repository with the same name as your username on GitHub, and there you should put README file. And for example, this information can be found in Google, GitHub create profile README, and you will come to here and you will find all necessary tutorial how to do it. And also one tip from me, how to create this README. There is interesting service, for example, and you can also find other one. How to Google it? GitHub README generator. And here you will see a lot of different services who provide this possibility to do it. And for me, I used this GPRM, and here you need to provide your username on GitHub. After it, you will create about your, you should add small introduction, for example. And here, for example, for me, I took this introduction from my LinkedIn. I used emojis, I described briefly my experience, and I also put it in my GitHub. After it, you click next, you will select theme, how it looks like, which information include, for example, lifetime commit, private commit, and so on. After it, you click next, and here you can provide social links, and after it, you will provide your skills. For example, Dart language, HTML5, Java, Markdown, and so on. And when you provide all necessary information, you click next, 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 and you will check if you need that stuff, and you will receive this auto-generated README. And you can copy this code, go to GitHub, create necessary file, and paste this information there. And after it, you will receive README look like mine. And you can use it. And I can say that it will help you to find job, but I think it's something from psychology. If you like yourself, you should make everything which you like. And for me, I like this stuff and I did it. For you, you can resolve to do it or not. It's not mandatory, it's optional, and you can do it, you cannot do it. And next one, when you create this README, you need, or I also can say that you must create pet projects. No, it's not necessary, but it can give you some points when somebody will check your GitHub profile. And if you have projects on your GitHub profile, very important that they should be, how to say it, they should be understandable and they should looks pretty good. And how you can do it? First, each project must have README, and README it's very important for your project. Why? There you should describe what is it, what this project do, and why you write this project at all. Next one, you should provide information how to build and run this project. Because, for example, I'm Java developer, but we have a lot of ways how to create application, and you should provide detailed instruction how it should be run. Why it's important? Because, for example, I, as your future interviewer, want to check what did you do, and for example, I really interested by your project, and I want to check if it works, and I want to run it locally. And in Java, we have huge amount of ways what it can be and how to run it. For example, it can be Spring application, it can be console application, it can be, I don't know, some specific framework, for example, and so on. And each framework have his own way how to run it. And for I am as Java developer, I don't know everything. And for example, I don't know how to use my Micronaut, and I don't know how to run it. And if I need to spend time to learn this information and try to understand how I should run your application, which is written by which is written in or using Micronaut, it is not okay for me. I will give up and say, okay, it's not my, and I will skip this project. But for example, if I check it, maybe I will have very good impression about you, and you lost this chance. So you should describe detailed instruction how to run it and build. And it can be some information about Maven, how to run this Maven, which command to use. Maybe it can be how to build Docker image and so on. So also you should have prerequisites which will describe which software should I have on my PC to run and build your application. For example, it can be Java, Maven, and Docker. Why no? Why not? And you will describe how to do it. So you describe that you need to install Maven, Java, Maven, and Docker. After it, you can execute Maven clean install. After it, you will you should call command Docker build, and after it, Docker run and provide all necessary information how it should be started. And also, you need to provide instruction how to use your application. If it's web service, you should provide information about endpoints. If it's console application, you should provide information which data is expected by us and what should we provide to this application and so on. So everything should be described, and it will save a lot of time for interviewer who will check your GitHub. Also, you can add information about important classes. For example, you want interviewer to take into account some classes. For example, you have big application and a lot of classes with CRUD functionality, but few of them covers some specific algorithms, for example, ranking or something like that. And you want to show interviewer that he should go to that classes and check it. You can define this information too. And also, if you know about bugs, you can also provide this information there, because situation can be that interviewer will start your application, will find bug and think, okay, this guy did some application and didn't know about bug, and is it okay for him or not? I don't know. And you can provide information, known issues. You can define this paragraph, known issues, and define bugs which you have. It's also okay. And the best case, when you have link to demo application. So for example, you can deploy your application to any free cloud, and there you will, and I am as interviewer, I can go through this link and check this application, how it works, and it will be excellent for me. I will save time with building, I will save time with configuration, and so on. I can use this application. Yes. I also, your code should be according to clean code principles. It's very important because it's some kind of I don't know how to say it, something like certificate. So if mark is higher, your is better, and your repository, it's your face for interviewer before meeting, and it should be clear. It should be it should be clear. So you should use clean code, and it's very important, and you should make this application perfectly as you can. And if to say about clean code, you should use solid approach. You should cover everything by tests. You should use clear commit messages and so on. No any unclear comments, not any trash in your code, and so on and so on. So interviewer will estimate you by this repository, and he should have best impression about you. And also, it is the best when you have CI/CD, so continuous integration and continuous delivery. It also will show that you know what is it, you understand where it's used, and it's we use CI/CD in every project, so good practice to include it in your pet project too. And as example, I will show you repository of one of my students. Here we can see description. We can see why link is not working. What's happened? Yeah, we can see description of API using Swagger. Don't know what's happened with internet. Yeah, here he provides information about endpoints. We can test this endpoint with this tool, Swagger, and so on. How to return? Yes. After it, so he provided API documentation and examples. He described what is it at all. Also, he provides prerequisites for running and building. Here he provides information how to build this application, how to run it, and how to use it. Yes. So small project, but clear. Here it's not enough. There is no information about main classes, and there is no link to demo application. But it's okay. We can check API documentation. We will understand how to use it, and I think this information will be enough for us. Yes, this as example. And also I will return to link demo application. For you, I can recommend service Fly.io. Fly.io. They provide free, how to say it, free instances, and you can use them. Yes, free allowance. You can have 3 instances with 256 megabytes of memory, and you can have 3 gigabytes persistence volume storage and 160 gigabytes of outbound data transfer. I think for demo project it will be fully enough and you can use it. Previously I recommended Heroku, but Heroku yesterday disabled free instances, and I found this Fly.io and you can use it. For example, if you are Java developer, you can find problems that there is no Java language as supporting language, but it can be resolved. How? You can deploy using Docker file, and you can containerize your application to a Docker image and put it on this cloud, and you can attach link to this deployed application to your README. And I am as user or interviewer, I can check your project. And you can also define few projects in one container. It's also not a problem. How to do it? You will, I can say about Java development, you will create Tomcat image. Inside this image, you will put all necessary vars in web apps folder and run this container. And this container will have 3 projects, 5 projects, 10 projects. And you don't need to use all your free instances of, all free instances. You can use only one it, run all demo projects, and two will be left for other your training pet projects or something like that. Yes, so here we can provide Fly.io. And Heroku. I really like Heroku, but it is paid from yesterday, 20th of November. Yes. Okay. Well, Heroku. And also Google, Amazon, Azure provides some virtual money for new users, and also you can use them. A lot of possibilities to use free clouds. So I hope it's clear about README, about what each project must have. And also I will describe set of pet projects which will cover necessary skills, and they will be useful firstly for you, and secondly it will be useful for interviewer to check your coding skills without test task, without any additional time. So here I provide 3 pet projects which you need to create, and they will cover all necessary information, necessary skills. First, you should create small and clear but production-like service. Why do you need it? Because you should show your clean code skills. And for example, I am as an interviewer, I have no enough time to check everything. I have no enough time to run some big application which contains 100 classes, to check them all and so on. When you provide small project, I can download it, run it, check that few classes, and it will be fully enough for me to understand your coding skills. It can be some calculator, it can be some task implementation or something like that. For me, my favorite task, it is small but very representative. It's calculating unique IP addresses in file. So you have text file, and this text file is filled by IP addresses. Only IP addresses, each line, one IP address. And you should calculate how many unique addresses are in this file. And it's a tricky task because we have 4 billions of IP addresses, and you can't use set data structure for it because it will take more than 100 gigabytes of memory, but you should calculate it. And I can say that it's complex algorithm. No, it's simple algorithm how to do it, but you should do it fully production-like. And it means that you should not use method main, if we say about Java, and inside this method main, we will do everything: read file, calculate amount, and provide output. You should use solid, and you should split your functionality by few classes. You should split this functionality by few layers, and so on. You should provide error handling. You should provide, your application should be extendable, understandable, and so on. So it's small application, but covers all necessary skills: your clean code, your solid code, solid principles, small algorithm, and how you test your code. Small and fully clear. Second one, I can recommend to do simple or not simple CRUD application. What this application will show? This application will show your API construction skills and knowledge of framework. maybe some famous framework. If we say about Java, it will be Spring. And interviewer can check your skills from this framework. Also, you will cover database model construction and data modeling. You will show how will you save your entities, how will you proceed relationship between them, and so on. Also, you can provide and you can show skills of unit testing, integration testing, how you use mocks, and so on. Also, you can include file storage. For example, how will you proceed file storage in your application, CRUD application? How will you proceed authorization, and so on? So all of you have experience with development, and you know the most popular topics which you cover every day in your application, and you can include it in your CRUD application. So it's some compromise between small application, very small application, and really big application. So first step, it's really small application. Second one, this compromise, not big, but not small. And third one, it's application for train and show your architectural skills, maybe system design. And here you can, and you should cover next topics: API construction, communication between services, service discovery, containerization and delivery your services. And for example, you can add asynchronous task processing. For example, you have some data structure, you have some services who save a lot of different data, and you have asynchronous task to make one big report, maybe daily report. Why not? I am as user, I go to your application, click button to create report, and creation of this report take, for example, 10 minutes. And it's bad way or it's bad case when I see this loading round and wait this 10 minutes. It's not okay for me as for user. And how we can resolve it? We can create task for our report service, and user will be notified when report will be ready, and he can go to our application, see notification, and click to link which will provide report. Or we can send report to email or something like that. It doesn't matter what we need, what we will do exactly, but we should show our skills, how we will create really complex application. It can be microservice application. It can be microservice architecture. It can be event-driven architecture, and so on. But better not monolith. Something from complex part. And you will show your skills, how you create this application from scratch, how you create everything, and it should work. Sorry, something went wrong with my Zoom. So I stopped on which project we should have, and the best if it's microservices, and you will show complex approach, how you proceed with this architecture from scratch. And the best case, when you will provide all in one repository, interviewer can download it, and using, for example, Docker Compose or Docker Compose, it will be the best way. He can run everything, and everything will work well, and he can check, he can touch your solution or something, or for example, Kubernetes configuration. So you run everything, you provide instruction how to run it, you run this, interviewer will run application using this instruction, and he will receive fully correct architecture, fully correct structure of your application, and everything will work, and we will have that asynchronous communication or synchronous communication. We will see service delivery, discovery, how it works, and so on and so on. As I said, it should be the most easy for interviewer to run your application and touch it. Yes, so I think that's all. It's about GitHub profile and which pet project we should create, and it will the best representative for external guys who will check your GitHub profiles. Do you have any questions?
No, Andrew.
Okay. So today we have this short session, and what can I add? I think nothing. So I described this Fly.io as free cloud. Heroku not free, but it's cheap and maybe it will be useful for you. Also, I can add here Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure. They provide free deposit for their services. Also, I can add here DigitalOcean. I know you know about them. I think you know about them. DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean provide $60 for 2 months, and you also can use it. But for me, the best solution is Fly.io because it provides free instances and without any deadline. And I think it's the best way. And also there you can train your skills with CI and CD. So you can, I forgot about, to show that this repository contains CI. And here we can find that everything is built, everything is checked using GitHub Actions, and it looks well. You see that here we have Sonar Cloud Scan, we have publishing to GitHub packages, we have Docker containerization publishing to Docker Hub, and so on. So very good CI/CD process, and it's cool, I think. And it shows skills that this guy understands what he did, and he knows real production development. Yes. CI/CD, we cover this topic. Clouds, we cover this one. And clean code, we also covered. Yeah. And pet project, we covered everything. Yes. I think we can finish. If you have no questions, we will finish. We can finish.
Yeah. Sure. Hello, Andrew.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, when we were discussing, I realized that Kubernetes was not mentioned. How important is it in this grand scheme of things?
Sorry, can you repeat this question because you have noise on the background?
Okay. So I said, yeah, while discussing, right, I realized that Kubernetes was not mentioned. So you mentioned things like, using Docker in our projects and the rest. So I was wondering, how important is it when it comes to building pet projects?
Uh, so your question, how we will provide Kubernetes configuration for our pet project?
No, no, not really. I said, how important is it when it comes to building pet
Ah,
projects?
how
Kubernetes.
important? It's not important
Yes.
for pet project, but we use Kubernetes or something like that, something for orchestration, for example, Docker Swarm, Docker Compose, or some tools from AWS for for orchestration of containers, and it will be helpful for you to understand this process. It's not a mandatory, and as I said, nothing of it is mandatory. No, but it will train your skill, which will be asked by you on interview. Why? Because middle engineer and senior engineer, it's not about language knowledge. It's about architectural knowledge. It's about processes knowledge and so on. And it will be useful more for you to understand these processes, and it will be easier for you to pass interviews, and you will train this again. And using this GitHub pet project on GitHub, you will show that you know this stuff. Because, for example, you can do it every day on your job, no problem. But you can show your skills on pet project. But as I said, no, it's not mandatory. It's, how to say it, additional experience points.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Andre. I understand.
And also when you did it, for example, you will up full microservice architecture project from scratch to working solution, you can say on interviews that you did it from scratch and you know how to do it, because the best position, I think, for me, it's when I come to Greenfield project. And Greenfield project covers creation something from zero. And it's also very important skill to create something from zero. Okay, when some structure is created and you come as developer and you add something to existing solution. But other skill is create something from zero. And it's more applicable for consultants. They can be invited to project as guys who will create something from zero. They will organize this project, and after it, they will or continue or will left this project, and other developers will continue to work on it. A lot of scenarios can be. So I think it's interesting skill for you. But as I said, is if you do it on your work every day, no problem. Or you can do everything of it on your job and no problem. And as I said, you can skip these pet projects at all. It will not, it will have no big impact on your search process. No, but if you have it somewhere, sometimes it can gives you additional points in difference with other candidates. And why not? And also a very interesting point that you can have public contribution to open source products, and it will have the biggest weight at all. And you can also try to do it. You can find open source project, find some bug or find ways where you can improve. Sorry, and do it. And I saw that some guys really like to provide this information on their LinkedIn profile, on their CV, that they created public commit to open source, for example, to Kafka or to Apache Maven or something like that. And why it can be important? Because sometimes big company analyze repositories, analyze commits, and try to hire that guys who made public commits to open source. And it can also have, it will increase your skill, your chance to be found by one of that companies. And it's some kind of long-term solution, which will help you, which can help you in future to find new position, but it's not with 100% guarantee or something like that. It can help or not. That's all. Okay, I think that's all from my side. If no questions, see you next week. Thank you for your time, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Andrew.
you very much.
Like,
Have a good week. Bye.
Yeah, and you too. Bye.